saint is going to help you through your self-doubts. He always saw the good within everyone, and praying to him will help you reflect on your own goodness, and you'll be able to better appreciate yourselves as being created in God's image and likeness. In today's episode on the saints, I'm going to talk to you about my favorite saint, Saint John Bosco. John knew what it was like to have a tough childhood. He was born to a poor family of farmers in the 19th century on August 16, 1815, in a farm located in the hills of Becchi, Italy. He lost his father, Francis Bosco, when he was only 2 years old. His parents instilled into him and his elder brothers, Joseph and Anthony, a strong devotion to Mary, praying the rosary together daily as a family. John was educated in faith and was taught to live according to the gospel message by his mother, Mama Margaret. He was very intelligent and quite witty. He worked hard as a shepherd and farmer to help support his mother and siblings. At the tender age of 9, John Bosco had his first vision, one in which a man with a radiant face and flowing mantle called him to lead a group of unruly boys behaving like wild animals. He called out to Bosco and told him to be a leader over those boys. He went on to say, "You will have to win these friends of yours not with blows, but with gentleness and kindness, to begin right now to show them that sin is ugly and virtue beautiful." Years later, at the age of 26, John Bosco was ordained a priest and began to fulfill his prophetic vision. On becoming a priest, he chose his life's program: give me souls, take all the rest. One thing became immediately clear to Don Bosco, that the only way to change the world is through education, a strong and complete education, one that opens the doors to life and the gates of heaven. John learned to juggle and do magic tricks, anything and everything that he could think of to catch a child's attention and earn the right to be heard. He began his apostolate by forming a club called the Oratory to serve and guide the disadvantaged poor young boys in the city of Turin, many of whom had turned to crime and other sins in order to survive the difficult urban reality into which they were born. He dedicated his life to their betterment by leading them to Christ, catechized them in faith, and instructed them along the path of virtue. He often used sports as a teaching tool. One of his most famous sayings is "Run, jump, and play, but do not sin." His teaching methods were based on love rather than punishment, a method that became known as the Salesian preventive system, based on the values of reason, religion, and loving kindness, with the goal of producing good Christians and honest citizens. In fact, once when he was saying Mass for 360 young people, there were only 8 consecrated hosts. And as he began to distribute communion, the hosts began to multiply. And in the end, there was enough for each person present. No one went home without Jesus. Over time, John recruited fellow priests and other friends to help him in his ministry, many of whom left unable to take any more of the hardships that came with ministering to such a challenging group. 2 friends even tried to commit John Bosco into an insane asylum. One night, while walking home during a particularly rough part of town, 2 men attacked John. At that very moment, a huge grey dog appeared out of nowhere, whose name was Grigio, pouncing upon the 2 men and defending the great saint. For almost 30 years, countless eyewitnesses say how Grigio would mysteriously show up at John's side like a crime-fighting sidekick. When asked about the dog's origin and mission, John replied, "It sounds ridiculous to call him an angel, yet he is no ordinary dog." The saint's life was never boring, to say the least. His visions became more detailed and more miraculous as years went on. Pope Pius IX even asked John to record his visions, believing them to be prophetic and valuable to the Church. In the words of Cardinal Spellman, "No one did more in the last century for so many people than Don Bosco, not only by his personal influence, but also by the apostolate of his marvelous sons." The effectiveness of his work was his constant union with God and his unlimited confidence and devotion to Mary. He encouraged the boys to be devout to her, to call on her in times of trouble, to realize that she is always at their side, encouraging them to be holy Christians, to be faithful to her Son and his holy Church. He began to print holy pictures with her image, made medals that bore her image, wrote a prayer to her, and began to encourage those seeking graces to pray a novena to her, also imparting his blessings of Mary Help of Christians, which is still used by Salesian priests today. Bosco commissioned the construction of the Basilica of Our Lady Help of Christians in Turin, northern Italy, in order to coordinate all activities related to the Salesians in the Valdoco suburb. The basilica enshrines an image of the Blessed Virgin Mary under the title Mary Help of Christians. Originally, it was the home for the poor boys and now contains the tombs of Saint Don Bosco, Saint Dominic Savio, and Saint Maria Dominica Mazzarello. Saint John Bosco died on 31st January 1888, and his great work is carried on by the Salesians, the order he founded with the support of Saint Francis de Sales and Saint Mary Mazzarello. He left as an inheritance for his Salesian sons and daughters a form of religious life that was simple but founded on solid Christian virtue, which may be summed up in the words work and temperance. At the time of his death, there were 250 homes for the boys, founded by the Salesian Society, containing 130,000 children. Of these, over 6,000 became priests. The Salesian Society still exists today and is the second largest religious order in the world, continuing St. Don Bosco's mission of helping and educating poor and the disenfranchised youth. On the centenary of his death, Pope John Paul II proclaimed him the father and teacher of youth. Don Bosco always emphasized on the importance of devotion to the Blessed Sacrament, devotion to Mary, and devotion to the Holy Father. He refused to look upon young people the same way the society did, believing that the only thing a young soul needed to live a saintly life was love and truth. So that's it about our dear beloved saint. To get more insight about such saints, please do follow and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.